Okay. Lorenzo was here today at practice. How's it feel to actually have him on campus in this swing of things?
Yeah, well, good. I was out at practice yesterday, and I'm looking over my shoulder, and I see some guy. I said, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, that must be Lorenzo." So I just, but good to have him practice today, and he obviously probably didn't do very much, and all those kind of things. Still got to learn a bunch of things. So, but good to have him here. Glad he finished up his academic work at, in Louisiana and got his degree, and can get all that out of the way and get here and get down to playing some football. So we're excited to have him.
How did the evaluation process work with evaluating him? Why you wanted him? Why you wanted to bring him?
Well, because we know what we had some scholarships to give at that position, and we're looking for some experience, and obviously he fit those parameters, and was a good player, and was an all-conference player down there in that league, and so we had kind of a good connection with some of the players on our squad right now, and so it just all kind of worked that way. So we're always looking to increase the competition. That's one thing if we want to get better, we got to get better from top to bottom at every position. So that helps us in that way.
Looked like he played 3-3-5 at Louisiana. That's a little bit not quite apples to apples. How do you guys see him fitting in here?
Yeah, well, he's an inside linebacker, and probably more of that middle linebacker spot for us. So I'm sure that's something similar to what he did. And kids are adaptable. He'll learn our scheme. He'll adapt. And there's things, even though it's a different alignments and things like that. A lot of it's still the same. Football's football. So I don't have any problem or any worry that he won't catch on or he won't fit in. He can play those spots.
That group as a whole, the linebackers, the room looks a lot different now than it did this time last year.
Yeah.
I guess what interests you most about that position group and that dynamic?
Yeah, well, as I said, it's really, I think it's every position that we have. We just need more competitive Division I football players, and so we've certainly been able to do that at the linebacker spot as well as a lot of the other ones, and I think the increased competition, I think it makes everybody better. I know I've got to make every rep count, and so I've got to be on point, and so I just don't somehow get to play. I have to earn my way. So I think we've done that, and now it's just a matter of really trying to figure it all out, and you kind of let it sort itself out a little bit, and eventually I think the cream's going to rise to the top. So I have no doubt we'll get the right guys on the field.
And when we talked to you in the spring, we talked a little about Kenny and his strengths at the boundary spot. With Marvin here, I guess, how does that work with the two of them? Is Kenny going to stay at boundary? Is he going to go to field? How do you work with those two?
Yeah, that certainly could be. I guess that's still got to play itself out. Marvin's a good player. He's still got he's had 3 practices here, so he's still got a lot to learn also. And I'm not gonna just throw him to the wolves out there before he's really got a good grasp of all the things that we're doing. But I've talked to both those guys about, hey, in the course of time, there's a chance that both guys are going to be on the field at the same time, and you can't be standing one behind each other over there into the boundary. So they both take reps at the field safety for us as well, and then again, it's my job to evaluate who I feel, if they're both out there at the same time, evaluate who's best suited for what. And so obviously I want to play to Kenny's strengths. He's a heck of a player, so I already know what he can do at that spot, and but I think he's willing to explore anything that anything that we want him to do. I think he'll do.
What areas has he improved the most, Kenny?
I think he's been a lot just consistency day to day with things, just more even keel with the approach to things every day, and I think he's really tried to help within the position to really take a good leadership role, an active role, be kind of a voice in there sometimes. He's really improved his communication on the field with things. I think he knows what we're doing. So I think he's got a lot of confidence in that, and so like I said, I just think he's a lot more. He's a more mature player and a more mature person this year than I compared to last year.
What do you see from Marvin, and do you expect him to play quite a few snaps for you guys?
Well, yes, I do. Again, we got a long way to go here, so I'm not prepared to tell you, one thing or another. I think we've got lots of good players in that room. O.J. Burrows, who you're going to see here in a second, Edwin White, Jared Paul is another transfer that from Eastern Michigan, and Rutgers that's come here, and so you might even go beyond that. There's guys, I think we have a lot of pieces there, so it's got to let it work out and play itself out. But Marvin's just a pretty good natural football player. I think he likes to be physical, so those are some things. And if you just look at his stature, he's tall, he's long. It kind of gives us a different look back there. So and he's pretty instinctive at reacting to things that happen. So I can see that in him already. And like I said, for him, he just got to get more comfortable with what it is that we're really doing, fully.
You have two DBs who come in who are transfers in Jarrett, and then with Monte McGarry, who've played safety and corner at previous stops. How do you see? It looks like Monte's going to probably be a corner, and Jarrett will be a safety. Is that what you guys are projecting at this point?
Yep. Yes. Right now, that's what we recruited Monte to be a corner, and really Jarrett to be a safety. I think Jarrett played corner at Eastern Michigan because they needed him to, so he did. But you notice also Jarrett plays some of our nickel and kind of the slot DB when we go to 5 DB stuff. So he's got good versatility. And I know that if we ever got in a bind at corner, which I don't know that we will, but if we ever did get in some kind of a bind, I know he could jump out there and play. He's played in very similar systems to what we're doing now. He understands it.
You mentioned the versatility there, but Jalen Dye played safety and corner. Was that a conscious decision to go after guys that have experience playing both safety and corner?
Yeah, I think in some respects it is. Trying to recruit defensive backs as opposed to just plug a guy into one spot and pigeonhole him, that's all he is. I think the more versatility you have, the better. Now, obviously, there's a skill set that a guy needs to have. I think both those guys have good versatility. We're trying to get them, to one position right now. Rather, not trying to learn all 4 DB spots back there or 5 DB spots back there. I think that would be asking a lot of a guy, and then, thinking realistically, he's going to really, compete beyond being just a utility player. I don't want a guy to feel like I'm the utility infielder. Well, I can play anywhere, but I really don't start anywhere either. So, trying to get those guys locked into a spot, but we meet together sometimes in the secondary corners and say we're meeting together, we're putting coverages in together. So I think you can't help but know what's going on back there. Just if you're paying attention, guys will know it. So if we ever had to flip a guy out there, I think we could do that easy.
Coach, what are you looking for from Kenny outside of the position room in terms of leadership with the program? And say that growing the program, you need him to be one of the faces of the program. What are you guys looking for him outside of the field, outside of the position room?
Yeah, well, he does. He's got a lot of natural charisma and just really kind of got a good likability factor. So we just need him to represent us in the the things that we think are important in terms of being accountable and being disciplined and being a good decision maker and developing good leadership qualities. He just needs to keep going in the direction he's going because he's really going in a good direction and he'll be awesome for the program. Even off the field, I think he's got all those characteristics to really kind of help us in that area. So yeah, for sure.
You had a young secondary last year, a couple of guys who've left, but a lot of these guys who are coming back were true freshmen. When you bring in experience like you guys did, those younger guys in some situations can be kind of upset about that. How do you manage the emotions of that and get them to finally,
it's a kind of a balance, right? So you gotta be just smart about how you handle things. And I just tell guys that I tell them literally every day, as a group, and I'll grab a guy individually. Hey, don't worry about it, right? Don't worry. You control what you do. So, be the best version of you that you can be. Make good use of the reps that you have. Make it so that I have to play you, right? It doesn't make sense to not have you on the field. So just because you're bringing in an older guy, that doesn't mean that that's his spot. Everything's earned here. So a guy that's come up through the program he's got benefits also. He's been in the program. He gets it. He knows what we're about. He knows what we're doing. He knows how we do things. So he's not learning those things like a new guy is. So there's advantages to both. And like I said, I feel good about a number of players, and I'm we can't be worried about we can't be selfish. This is a team game, and got to have trust in the coaching staff that we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get the best guys out there, the guys that need to play, and it's not just, you just don't play 11 guys. We're gonna play a lot of guys. That's just how it is, and so be in the mix, and those things will sort itself out.
Brian, thinking back to when we first met you, you think you had already been through half, if not more, of the league, breaking down offenses and things like that. Was that just to get caught up, or did you do that again this offseason? Is that part of your process?
Yeah, we did. Anybody that was new, right? We tried to look. So like a lot of our non-conference, our first 4 games, I think there's 3 new play callers at least, if not new staff. So that was a lot of. And we tried to get ahead on all that stuff already, because pretty soon here in a couple of weeks we're going to get ready to play Tennessee Tech. So
Sure.
and that's a new offensive coordinator and kind of a new system. So we did our research. We kind of traced his history, found out where he was, tried to find some film from his previous stops and what he's doing. So I think we'll be ready to go.
Did that feel different this time around versus the catch up of last year when you guys got here a little late, obviously?
Yeah, a little bit. Certainly feel like we have our feet on the ground a lot more here right now, and just last year is really not knowing almost day to day what to expect.
Sure.
I think there's just the comfort and confidence of having been through it and kind of knowing what to expect a little bit more is helpful, and also then it gives you to know what direction to go, right? So last year it's kind of you're kind of guessing a little bit and trying to figure it out. I think we got a firmer idea of what we're doing right now.
Hey Brian, when you look back at the roster that ended last season and look at the defense roster now heading into fall camp, it's drastically a lot of changes. Just what can these additions bring, and what can it mean for the whole defense?
Yeah, well, we all know that we've got nowhere to go but up from last year. So it's just being honest about it, and we had to get better. And I think that the players that have been in our program from the start have done a wonderful job of development in every way, and they're better players now. But the fact that we knew we had to go find some, and that's just the nature of the business a little bit. And as I said, I'm really excited about the numbers of guys. We just didn't have guys last year. We didn't have that many linebackers we could really throw out there and feel good about, and we were really thin in the secondary and somewhat in the defensive line. So I feel great about our defensive line, our defensive tackles and defensive ends. I think we've got wonderful quality players there. We can go beyond 2 deep probably and not really have drop off, and everybody's got different things they can add. I feel really good about our defensive front, and quite honestly the way they're being coached and how they're progressing that way is awesome. Kind of talked about our linebackers, and again it was bare bones last year, and again we've got more of a stable of guys now where you could maybe sustain an injury better than we could last year. You can give a guy a break a little bit more than we could last year. I think we've got lots of guys options that we can throw out there, and then again we kind of talked about the secondary as well. I think we just added every position. So you name the spot from the first guy to the last guy. There's better quality and more quality players that playing at a higher level. So my expectation is that we're going to be better. In fact, I know we are. I know we're going to be better. How that's going to play out in over 12 games, does that mean we're going to win 12 games? I'm not saying that. I hope we're going to try to win 12 games. But I know we just feel like we're different, right? Those are some of the words that we talk about with our guys. Hey, we got to be different, right? We got to be different players. We got to be different people. We got to be different in our approach. We just need to be different than we were last year. If it's going to be different, we need to be different. So we're really working in that area. And like I said, I feel great. I feel great right now. It's 3 practices in, but I like the direction we're going, and I like the potential that we have.
You mentioned the depth there. I guess how important is that to not have Kenny, Rich, Gavin playing 700 snaps? Like, how important was that?
Yeah, well, I think it speaks volumes to what we've been able to do. I think it's going to help every player, right? If I know I'm going to be out there for 75, 80 snaps, I don't know that there's a guy alive that can play 75 or 80 snaps at max capacity and without any kind of drop off ever, right? It just happens. You can see that how we get wore down a little bit last year. We'd fight like crazy, and then eventually, we're still fighting, but our punches don't have as much pop as they did. So I believe we'll be able to interchange the pieces a little bit more this year and stay fresher, longer, and again, be able to put a number of guys that can compete at this level. We'll put them out there, and hopefully the results will be there too.